Hello and welcome back to this multi-part tutorial on system dynamics modeling and using STELLA software from IC Systems. My name is Greta Savitsky, I'm a PhD student, and this is the second part of this tutorial. In the last part, part one, we talked about systems, system dynamics, and systems theory, and today we'll be talking about some of the specific patterns that system dynamics models are really good at picking up on. In particular, we will talk about chaos, feedbacks, and delays. Let's get started. So why do we use differential equations to track time-dependent behavior over time? Because ordinary differential equations are really great at capturing things like change over time and interconnectedness. And because of these attributes of ordinary differential equations, they're also great at picking up on system behavior like chaos. We can think of chaos as sensitivity to initial conditions, like the butterfly effect, for example, where a butterfly flaps its wings and cascading effects lead to a hurricane somewhere else in the world. But if the butterfly flaps its wings just a little bit differently, the hurricane won't happen. So a very small change at the beginning can lead to very large outcomes. Ordinary differential equations can also be used for simulation, prediction, and testing hypothetical control situations in your system. So looking at how changing a system component might change overall system behavior. And finally, using ordinary differential equations allows the scientist to look at whole system behavior rather than individual interactions, and in particular, how the system might affect itself, which is called a feedback loop. So again, a feedback is the process by which the output or behavior of a system influences its own operation. Some examples of this might be a thermostat, whereby the temperature of a room influences how a thermostat will change the temperature of a room. Price is a great example, whereby if a price gets too expensive, then consumers will no longer buy that good or service, and the price will come down. And finally, population size. As a population grows, there are more individuals that can have babies, meaning that the population will continue to grow even faster. There are two main kinds of feedback: reinforcing or positive feedback, whereby the outcome of a system reinforces the system's behavior, often resulting in amplified outcomes. And the second type is balancing or negative feedbacks, whereby the outcome of a system decreases the system's behavior, resulting in muted outcomes. Reinforcing feedbacks often lead to exponential increases in systems and often are followed by system collapses. Some examples of reinforcing feedbacks are population growth. So as population grows, there are more individuals that can have babies, leading to even more population growth. As adrenaline spikes, your body picks up on adrenaline in your bloodstream and decides to release even more adrenaline. And finally, as sea ice melts in the Arctic and Antarctic due to climate change, it makes those surfaces less reflective, holding on to more heat, leading to higher temperatures and even more sea ice melt. Balancing feedbacks, on the other hand, lead to muted effects and often oscillatory behavior in stocks. Some examples of this are predator-prey dynamics, where a prey population will increase, leading to more food source for predators. This will lead to a predator population increasing, leading to a decrease in prey population. And because there's a decrease in prey population, we also see a decrease in predator population. And so we see these patterns again and again, keeping both populations in check so that neither one gets too large. Similarly, any sort of body that needs its temperature regulated, for example, a human body, will take in information about the temperature outside and will adjust accordingly. So if a body is too cold, it will heat up. If a body is too hot, it will cool down. Similarly, like stated by the Gaia hypothesis, there's an amount of carbon stored in the atmosphere and an amount of carbon stored in the terrasphere, and these balance depending on the temperature of the Earth. And so if too much carbon is emitted into the atmosphere, the Earth will get hotter, plants will grow faster, and will absorb more carbon out of the atmosphere, balancing the amount of carbon in those two spaces. Feedbacks are important for system modeling because they can lead to the kind of complex system behavior that other kinds of models may not be able to pick up on. One final important component of many system dynamics models are delays. Because feedbacks are not always instantaneous, it can make system dynamics more complex. For example, if there is an increase in demand for a product, there's a delay for manufacturing between when the demand increases and when the supply can match that demand. Similarly, with the spread of disease, as we map the spread through individuals, sometimes there is a delay between when someone becomes infected and when they become infectious. Finally, as population grows, more individuals are born who can have more individuals themselves, but these individuals have to reach sexual maturity, and so there is a delay between an increase in population and the increase in birth rate. These have been some important principles and definitions that have to do with system dynamics modeling, and in the next video, we will go over the basic components of a system dynamics model, how they fit together, and in the next video, we'll talk about all the basic components of a system dynamics model and how they fit together. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.